Tommy, the Rovers fan, was very clear. The better team lost in that Birmingham game. Really happy with the performance. There was a lot of running and effort today. The referees, though, are a complete shambles. We need to consider giving Todd Cantwell the armband permanently. A topic for debate on this week's episode of Where Uncle Jack Walks. Thank you very much for dropping in and giving us another view. Hope you are well. We're, of course, reflecting back on Blackburn 1, Birmingham City 2 with our impressive panel. As always, welcome back Harry and Tom from summer holidays. How are you both?
Yeah, really good. I was quite poorly last week, so I do appreciate, the boys did a great effort keeping the ship running. But yeah, it's been a really good few weeks off, and I'm ready to start the season, hopefully with a few wins in the next couple of weeks.
And good to see you again, Harry. How was your summer? All good?
Yeah, good to be back. Hopefully we'll be talking about a few more positive results in the future. But, yeah.
And welcome back, of course, Mark and Jason from last week. So if you're new to the channel, this is 20 minutes of Blackburn Rovers chat every single week, reviewing all the stuff going on at the club. We must start off this week with, it could be very remiss of us to not, of course, mention the anniversary of a great man. 25 years ago, the club tweeted out, "We lost our greatest ever supporter, Jack Walker. You'll always be remembered." Thank you, Uncle Jack. Ben, fellow Rivers fan, put a great comment there. "There will never be another like Jack Walker. What he did for this great club truly cannot be expressed in words. He allowed us to dream. More importantly, he allowed us to live that dream. Many of us have seen a small town team win the Premier League. He'll always be remembered and, of course, always missed." And of course, our show takes the name from the great man himself. Mark, I'll come to you because there'll never be another Jack Walker, not just for Blackburn Rovers. I mean, we've talked about clubs and ownership at the moment, but there won't ever be another man like him, will there?
No, never again. What he did for Rovers and the town of Blackburn was absolutely astonishing. Thankfully, I was growing up in that era, so during the 90s when he took over control of the club and the great things he did in a short space of time. Really, I think that's the thing. We'll say it never be done again, but to take us from obviously what is now the Championship and then winning the Premier League 3 years later, it was just a hell of a journey and a hell of a ride. And then even when we did have a bit of a dip in the late 90s and we got relegated again, you just had that feeling at the club, we were going to bounce straight back. And I think that the club was just being run superbly. And it's just a shame, obviously, now with the legacy, obviously with the current ownership, it's just it's a completely different contrast to where it was. But I'm just grateful that I was alive to see that era, and as I said, what he did for the club, the town. Nobody will ever see that again, especially with all the foreign investment and everything. Now, we're talking about a bloke that was local. It was his local club, and he put his money where his mouth was. So, it was great memories, but. Unfortunately, I feel sorry for the younger generation now that they'll never witness that. But like I said, thankfully I witnessed it during my teen years. So Great man.
Good. How old were you, Harry, at that time? Were you born 4?
No, not even close.
Oh, right.
10 years after that.
Okay, right. Nicely summed up there, Mark. Thank you. Thanks so much. Right, let's focus then on the now and the present then, shall we? We'll come to the positives in a second because there's plenty to talk about. We'll talk about Todd Cantwell, his performance. We'll talk about him taking the armband potentially as well, Harry. But where does the blame squarely lie for what happened at the end of that game? Some people are blaming the manager, some people are blaming the subs, some people are blaming the players themselves. Where does the blame lie?
I don't really want to jump straight to pointing fingers because the first things first, it was a pretty solid performance against a side that I think most teams, most fans reckon probably will be up there come the end of the season. We probably were the better team even after they scored, even after they equalised. If any team looked like they were going to go on and get a winner after that, it did look like us. I think blame maybe a bit of naivety. got an attacking corner late on, didn't leave anyone back. Poor corner from Tavares, I know, and they've gone down the other end and scored for that. So maybe that's a bit of naivety, trying too hard to go and chase the game and thinking maybe we should just try and secure this point here because it's still a solid point, and that first point on the board of the season is important. So I don't want to single anyone out and blame anyone, but I think it's certainly an experience to learn from, that maybe in future we won't be as naive and try and just think about, hey, let's maybe hold on to what we've got, and that will be a nice lesson to not be so naive and throw games away like that, because it was in our hands, and yeah, mistakes from our own undoing cost us the game. So hopefully we'll learn from that in the future.
Yeah. Well said, thank you, Harry. It's something that Dom says we can't blame the manager at all for that. Although you've all seen the tweets that have. I like how honest he is in his press conferences. I think that the lads are at fault today for the bigger picture is above him. There needs to be change, and I can't see it happening any sign to Uncle Jack's Rubber Dingy Men says hindsight might regret the triple subs before the penalty. Yeah, we can all have great hindsight, can't we? In the moment, Tom, your view of the game overall. Impressed with what you saw overall?
I mean, like Harry said, Birmingham are going to be there or thereabouts this season, which kind of pains me to say. But Rovers were the better side, I think, from watching the game. And I watching the highlights back again. I think we passed the ball well. There was quick movements. Carbo was direct. I think he's been key. And I think Cantwell did do well in his captain's role. I think the goal he took was fantastic. There's lots of positives, and it can be really easy to focus on the negatives. I think Harry is right in the sense at the very end when perhaps we should have tried to see the game out rather than going for the goal. And Tavares, that's almost unforgivable. That cross, you can't beat the first man, and then the breakaway goal just to counter and score. We know the threats Birmingham have to offer, but we've sat here many a time last season and tried to focus on the positives, and I'm still going to focus on the positives. There's a lot of things that went well that you can take encouragement from. It's very much a new-look team. There's lots of new players. The only thing that does concern me is the players that have gone out the door haven't been replaced with the same quality I've seen as yet that have come in. But from what I've watched on like YouTube and highlights of some of the players, like Axel Henriksen, he looks quite an exciting player. I like Miller. I think he'll be a hard-working fullback, and Tavares and Deneva look decent players. But time will tell when the team fully gels together and Ishmael gets his ideas across. There's still some positives there, and I think with Carbo and Gay looking sharp, I think we'll beat some teams this season. I'm sure of that.
Yeah. Okay. The point of view made by this next one was that. Jason Dorsey says, I'm sure there will be the usual negative fans on here, but what a performance against a team lightly going up. We created a lot more than last week, and we should have had more goals. That will come. I've started muting a few Blackburn fans on Twitter myself. I don't usually do that, but I see the same names saying Venky's out every single time there's a loss. We do need to put the West Brom in this game into perspective, don't we? A narrow away loss and a very narrow home loss against a team that's going to be right up there.
That's it. And I think if you look in the manner in which we conceded the second goal on Saturday, we conceded while we were trying to win the game. We pushed everyone forward to try and win. We got a corner late on. We got caught out. It happens sometimes. There's been many times when we haven't done that. With it, many seasons and games and previous managers who would concede late on and try and see it out. We just got caught. I mean, I was a bit negative last week, but I just think it was a better performance. I mean, my worry is I like spotting trends, and the trends in the cup game, and that is we conceded 2 goals very close together, which ultimately cost us the game against Bradford, 2 early goals, and then against Birmingham 2 late goals. But it's early in the season, a lot of new signings. We've got to let them gel, and that's the thing. It was better, it was improvement. We've just got to stop the rot before it gets started, really.
Okay. Cheers, Jason. Right, let's get to our title of the video then. Todd Cantwell for captain. Let's get Mark's opinion on this one. Stellar performance, but are you buying into this idea that perhaps he's captain material permanent?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I was a bit surprised when he was handed the captaincy on Saturday, but normally, I think, obviously, with no Travis in the team, you'd normally go towards Tronstad or Hyam. But I do think, obviously, with both players entering the last year of the contracts and not signing new deals, that has had an impact on the decision. And I think Cantwell was probably the next in line, looking like he's going to be here more for the long term. So I think it was more based on that. More than anything, because as I said, normally last season Tronstad would have got the armband if Travis wasn't playing, and same with Hyam. So to me, it was more things surrounding that. I don't know if it was the manager making a point, with these lads not signing new deals. So I'm not going to give you the armband. But Cantwell, he did lead by example on Saturday. Good performance, and obviously produced that bit of magic for the goal. So if it is going to be him longer term with the captaincy, then if that's what motivates him and gets that bit more out of him as well, then so be it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a mouthy sod, isn't he, Harry? He's exactly what you need in a captain.
Yeah, I don't mind it at all, actually. Mark touched on it just then. I think there's two types of captains. You've got a captain that's going to sort of rally the troops, really sort of be a leader. And I think that's something that we kind of lack without Travis. I don't see Tronstad as that. And I think Hyam kind of lost a bit when he was made captain when Travis went out on loan to Ipswich. I think we didn't really see the best out of him. But I think showing that that confidence into a player, especially a player where we've just signed other players to compete for his position, for Ishmael to say, "I trust you to be my man," and he's already got that confidence. But if he can have even more confidence in the fact that the manager really backs him and take that into his game, and that confidence and that level of ability that he's got, we can see him take his game to a different level and then lead by example, and his teammates take off that. But you already saw the sort of Cantwell of old when he first came to Blackburn in that game against Birmingham. He just seemed to want the ball every time, scored a lovely goal, and getting him off the mark with an open play goal was really important, because I think we waited until the last home game of the season last year for him to get his first open play goal. So for him to get a goal so early on, a nice goal as well, and so that sort of reinforced the manager's decision to make him captain. I think that could do the best for him and then motivate the teammates to follow suit.
Perfect. Right. Last week we made our predictions where Blackburn would finish. Harry and Tom, you escaped that, but no escape for you this week, I'm afraid. So before we press on, coming up, we're going to look at the players which left in the summer and who are you glad to see the back of and who you think of the club made a mistake with. And of course, we're looking at the home shirt this week as well. Where does it rank with your top three Rovers shirts of all time? Right, Tom? Number 1 to 24. And bearing in mind, actually, that our West Brom and Birmingham fans we've spoken to on rival podcasts have both said about Blackburn, decent side, they'll be okay this season. Take on that what you may. What do you reckon, Tom?
If you'd asked me at the start of the season, I probably would have said 9th, 10th. I would love to go on another playoff push again, but I think there's a lot of big teams in this division. Teams that have come up and the teams that have come down. The division has strengthened and it's stronger than it was last year. And I think our luck is going to run out at some point. I do fear for the goals this year. There's going to be 3 teams worse off than Rovers this year. I'm going to say we're going to finish around 12th.
Okay. Harry?
I think there probably will be a slight drop-off. I think, like Tom said, there is a lot of quality in this league this season. The teams that came down are strong. The teams that came up are strong as well. And some teams have really spent some good money. I know Middlesbrough have bought quite well, and other teams like that. Bristol have had a really good start. There'll be a lot of teams fighting for those playoff spots. I'm not too confident that we'll have the firepower and maybe the strength in depth to really create too much of a challenge to push those top spots, but I don't think we'll be in danger. I think we've got enough quality. I think we will be strong enough. I think we probably will end up in that mid-table, bottom half block, somewhere around 12th to 15th. So let's be optimistic and say 12th.
Okay. I forgot I banned you two, didn't I, from saying 12th last week? I forgot to put that rule in. Okay.
You did. So if I might say it now, can I change my answer? I said 7th.
Okay.
And I really need to change it.
Yes or no answer to this next question for both of you as well. No, don't expand on it. Tom, will you finish higher than Derby County?
Yes.
Harry?
Yes.
Okay, good. Just checking. They don't think so, by the way. Right, let's have a look then at the outgoings, shall we? There's quite a lot here to run through. We're not going through the whole list. It's too small to read. If you're listening on Spotify, of course, you can watch it back on YouTube if you want to see the list. But this is from Transfer Market, not always entirely accurate. First question then to you, Jason. Of the list, ranking Costello, Tyrese Dolan, Vyman, of course, Danny Bath, etc., etc. Which of these are you glad to see the back of and would have personally driven them there yourself?
Let's have a look. It's a bit small, that. Colin Woodrow. Oh, thank God for I can understand that one. I was worried we might sign him. But, to be fair, I think Dolan, it was just the right time for him. There was very good he was when he was good. There was he brought a lot of negativity with fans. He divided fans a lot. His quality's unreal when he was on it. We just didn't get it enough, and it dragged on for a long time. His contract negotiations, and for me, he should have gone earlier than that for a bit of money, I think. But other than that, and I think they're all lost in some way. I think we've lost the play with each one in some way. They all added something. Ranky Costello, I think, was the right time for him to move on, and I think Buckley will do the same. I think the time's done.
Tom, which of those on there are you the most saddest about that you thought could have stayed and done a job with you this season?
Well, do you know, of all those players that I'm sad it didn't work out for is Jack Vale, because for a couple of seasons I really thought that he might step up and get goals for Rovers, because he was prolific in the academy and in the 21s, but it just never quite worked out for him. So obviously he needed to move on. I will miss Dolan as well. For all his, like what Jason just said, for all he polarised opinions massively, but he loved the club. The kids loved him. On his day, you could never fault his work rate. So I think Dolan will be a big miss. And I think I was surprised in the end that Britain went, but money talks. But yeah, I think Dolan and Britain are two that I think Rovers are going to find it hard to replace this year. And obviously Jack Vale finally going. I wish him well, but as you can see, he hasn't got a club now. It's a shame, because I thought he could be quite one for the future for Rovers a few years ago, but hasn't quite worked out for him. But I wish all these players the best of luck, apart from Danny Bart and Anders Wyman.
Mm-hmm. Mark, you can see the number of right-sided players there that you've lost. Has that left you significantly weaker in that particular area of the pitch?
Yeah. I mean, obviously the new lad that we've brought in, Alabusu, I think he has looked all right so far. I know I said last week he played very well at West Brom. So yeah, it has made us slightly weaker. And I think for Rovers, as I said, with some of the players that we've brought in, they do need time to settle. But again, what worries me is the squad is looking very light again. If you look at the bench on Saturday, it is built up of a lot of kids, and I just worry if we do start getting some injuries in a lot of key areas, it's going to really impact us. But we'll just have to wait and see. But looking at it on the face of it, with the players that have gone to the players that we've brought in, I did say last week that on paper it does look a bit of a downgrade. But no, these lads that have come in, they need time to settle, because I said some of them they have looked okay in this first couple of games. Okay,
Harry, any for you? Are you going to miss
any of those players that I'd miss? I think the only one from that list is Callum Britton. I think everyone on that list is pretty replaceable. I know Dolan played a lot for us, and a lot of fans liked him, but he never really got the output that a player in that position should have got. I think Callum Britton had a lot of quality, but I do like the two new lads that have come in and replaced him. But in terms of that right-hand side, I do think we are quite weak on that right-hand side now. I know Hedges actually had a really good game on Saturday. I know we've been quite critical of him at times, but it would be nice for someone to give him a bit of competition on that right wing. We don't know how long Alabiosu is going to be out injured for now. Obviously, we've got a number of options on the left-hand side now, but in terms of an out-and-out right winger, Hedges is the only one that we've got in the club at the minute, so it would be nice to bring someone in him to give him a bit of competition.
Okay, brilliant. Right, to Hull we go then. This weekend, this is a nastier Hull side with a bit of bite back with Ollie McBurney, of course, on fire as well. Jason, predictions for this one?
I think 1-1 score draw for me. I think we'll get a result as long as we can take the Birmingham sort of level of performance there. We've got a real chance. If we turn up, we can't do the game of two halves thing again. Quiet first half, then try and do something second half. We need to try and hit the ground running in the game. Get in front, see how we do. Get in front early, but yeah, I'll go score draw. I think we'll get a result.
Yeah, okay. You went there last Christmas time, of course, or just before Christmas, and got a result. So, yeah, decent record at the MKM. We'll be reviewing that match, of course, here next week. Also looking at the away kits next week as well and getting your views on that. Let's start with the home kit, though, just before we finish then. Here it is. There's not much you can do, is there, Tom, really, with a Rovers kit? You can't really mess it up, I suppose. But are you liking the cleanness of this?
Yeah, I do. I would have got it this year, but I think it's very similar to last year's shirt minus the collar. Like you said, it's the same sponsor as last year, same shirt maker, Macron, and classic blue and white halves. I think over the last 10, 20, 30 years, I think our kits are always amazing. And I think a lot of neutral fans do love the Rovers home shirts. I think the sponsor is smart and it's sleeker. I like the stripe down the side. I think Macron have a lot of kits in the Championship, but they do make every shirt, Blackburn shirt, bespoke to Rovers. So when you look at the away kit next year, you'll see lots of the details in that. But no, I'm a big fan of the shirt. I like it. The only thing is I would have got one this year perhaps, but because it's very similar to last year's minus the collar. But no, I think it's a really smart, stylish shirt you could wear into the town without being bombarded with a football shirt.
We all got thumbs up from everywhere else. Anyone want to say anything negative?
Yeah, I think it's a come down from last season. I thought last season's home kit is probably the nastiest home kit we've had since 94-95. And from a distance, when you're in the stands watching the game, it looked very similar to the 94-95 home kit. So I've grown very, very fond of that kit, and I was expecting the collar again this year or so. But yeah, I don't dislike. Obviously, it's just not as good in my opinion.
Yeah. I'd say that as well, and I think for me, I was a bit disappointed this season with it being the 150th year anniversary. I was expecting something a bit more retro. I'd have liked a lighter blue and possibly the blue and white on the different sides, how it was back then. So I thought they could have been a bit more creative with it being the 150th year. But I think they are bringing out a kit around November time. I think they're bringing out a one-off, so we'll wait and see what they produce for that.
The original badge, as well.
So that would be really good. But yeah, there's not much. Same as Tom, I've not bought the home one this year because I've still got last season's, and there's not much different. So, but yeah, it's not a bad kit.
Yeah, Harry, you'll be buying it?
No, probably not, but I like it. It's nice.
Okay.
I love Harry's honesty. Every week, honesty.
It's nice enough.
Proper Midland colour spade a spade. That's what we love. Right. Thank you very much, you four. Enjoy the trip to Hull for those of you who are heading that way, and we will catch you, of course, in 7 days' time to review all. Hopefully, with some points on the board as well. See you then. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, press that little subscribe button. That helps us out massively. Thanks for watching.
Bye bye.